Hello, loves. Today is a very special day. It is the 3rd year anniversary of my spiritual birth. It's my spiritual birthday. And 3 years ago, I had a life-changing experience that changed everything about my life, literally. The way I view life, the way I live, the way I think. It's been an adventure. And it hasn't been easy, but it's been the best life I could possibly ever live. And I want to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned along this journey. Today I want to talk to you guys about something that's been very current, something that I've been dealing with, I would say, as recently as last week. And that's overcoming fear. Last week I realized that I was overwhelmed with fear. I was dealing with anxiety. It was affecting my health. It was affecting everything. One of my deep-rooted fears that I didn't even know existed within me is, what if all of this is not real? What if I was doing all of this in vain? What if God isn't real? What if that's all just like a big hoax? And that was one of the hardest things I had to deal with and I had to discover. And then I even thought, I'm like, one of my biggest fears is that God would disappoint me, almost like he would let me down in some way. Like, I'm living this good life. They always say good guys finish last. I was thinking that, like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing things the right way. But what if I'm doing it all in vain? And I had to come to grips with myself and say, my life is proof that this is real. My life is the biggest proof that this is real. When I talk about proof, I'm not talking about empirical evidence or anything like that, because there's no way that science could even prove something as deep as this. Science is limited to certain boundaries and certain laws and certain theories. What I'm talking about is something that goes beyond the boundaries of science. What I'm talking about goes into the depths of love. And for my life to be completely transformed the way it was, there has to be a God. That's how I know that whole irrational fear of everything being a big hoax was not true. The enemy is called the deceiver for a reason. He's a liar. His favorite thing to do is to tell us, 1, God isn't real. Number 2, that he isn't real. Number 3, that God is your enemy. Number 4, that God will disappoint you. When God is love, God is all good. But sometimes the things that we go through in life put a filter on the way we view our lives. And because we've experienced pain, we have a fear. We want to protect ourselves from experiencing pain again. So number 1, we sometimes shut ourselves off to God because we're like, if God could allow this pain to happen in my life, why would I trust him? And then it goes from, why would I trust him, to why would I believe in something or someone that could allow this to happen to me? When you realize the profound, enlightening key to life that all things work together for the good, for those who love God and are called according to his purposes, then you'll realize that everything that happens in your life, good or bad, is ultimately good. I mean, when you think about the story of Jesus, when Judas betrayed Jesus, would you consider that to be a good thing? Someone betraying somebody? His close homie betraying him and selling him out for him to be tortured and killed? Is that a good thing? If you were back in those days, it wouldn't have been. Now, since we see, hindsight, we're able to look back and say, oh, well, it all worked together because then Jesus died on the cross for our sins. If you were living during that time, you saw it happening, you would have been just like one of his homies and would have cut off somebody's ear and, fought and been mad at Judas for doing what he did. But because God sees the bigger picture, God knew that Judas was going to do it, so he set everything up to go according to his plan. And that's how we have to see our lives. Even the bad things that happen in our life are all a part of a bigger picture that work towards the greater good for our own lives and for the world.